Alright, in this section, let's go ahead and learn about forms and how to handle form requests. So we're going to implement the ability to add students to our database as well as edit students. In this video, let's go ahead and add a footer down here where we can have a button, and then when we click on the button, we can display a model with a form in it. So in this video, let's go ahead and simply add a footer with a button. So go ahead and open up VS Code. And the first thing that we're going to do is to create a new component. So inside of source, create a new file, footer.js. And inside of this file, let's go ahead and say import and then React from and then React. And now let's simply go ahead and say const and then footer equals to a function that will take props, and then we're going to return a div. So let's go ahead and say div, and then inside of this div, let's go ahead and have our container, and then inside of this container, let's go ahead and have a button. So button, and this will come from ant_d. So you can see right here, it did auto import. And let's go ahead and simply say that this will be type of primary. So primary, and let's simply say add and then new and then student, and then add a plus sign. If I remove that space there, if I pretty much just end that with a semicolon, and now simply say export and then default and then footer, just like that, and save that. Now let's go ahead and open up app.js, and inside of app.js, go ahead and after the import container, let's go ahead and add a new import statement. So import and then footer and then from and then footer, just like that, and then scroll down and let's add a footer right here. So pretty much after the actual table, right? So right here, we're going to say footer. And for now, let's leave it as it is, just empty. Save this and then open up Chrome. And if I scroll down, you should see that we have this button right here, add student. Now let's go ahead and add some styling to this. So go back to VS Code, and let's go ahead and create a new file and call it simply footer.js, or actually CSS. So it's some styling, and let's go ahead and have a selector of type class. So dot and then footer. And what we're going to do here is add the following. So position, go ahead and say that this will be fixed. So this is a footer, and then bottom 0. And then left 0, right 0. And what we want also is a background. So background, and then this will be RGBA. And let's go ahead and say 240, 240, 240. And then this will be 0.9. So we want some transparency, and that with a semicolon there. And let's go ahead and say height, and then the height of this will be 5 em, and let's also add padding. So padding, and this will be 1 em, right? So if I now save this and then open up footer.js, and then right here, let's go ahead and import. So import, and then we want to import the footer.css. So within quotes, footer.css. You could use less if you wanted, but you know, let's just use CSS for now. So now simply go ahead and say class. So in this div right here, so class and then name equals to and then footer. Now if I save this and then open up Chrome, you can see that we have this footer right here with some transparency. So obviously we have to fix the actual margin. So you can see that we only show 19 students, right? So you can see that right here, there's one student which is hidden. So let's go ahead and also add an avatar that contains the number of students that we have. So go back to VS Code, and right here in props, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add curly brackets and then say props dot and then number of students. So if this is present, we're going to have an avatar. So avatar, and inside of this avatar, we're going to have the actual number of students. Otherwise, so if I collapse that, so otherwise we're going to have null, right? So if I pretty much save this, and I think we can change the avatar. So let's go ahead and say size equals 2, and then let's go ahead and say large, right? So save this, and then if I open up Chrome, you see that we have an error, number of students is not defined, and this is because this should be props and then dot number of student. Save that, go back, you can see that the error went away, but we don't have a number of students right here. So let's go ahead and add that. So open up the app.js. Now we can go ahead and add number of and then students equals 2 within curly brackets students dot and then length. Save that, and if I open up Chrome, you can see that we have the actual avatar right here. So now let me go ahead and add some styling to this specific avatar. So if I open up VS Code, and right here, what we can do is actually add this to a new line. And then if I expand this, so we can say style, right? And inside we have to pass an object, and let's go ahead and say background color. And this will be hashtag and then F56A00. And let's also add some margin. So margin and then right. And let's add, let's say 5 pixels. So let me add that to a new line. And in fact, just let me indent everything. So that'll be like that. And basically that will end there, right? So now if I save this and then go back to VS Code, you can see that this has changed color and also has padding. Next, let's go ahead and add a click event to this button so that whenever it's clicked, a modal pops up.